Clara was born into a humble home. Her father, Pastor Daniel Johnson, was respected in the community, a man who preached righteousness and warned against the corruption of the world. Her mother, Mrs. Johnson, was a gentle woman, known for her patience and her constant prayers for her children. Clara had grown up under strict morals, the kind that guided every step. But as the world outside her small compound grew louder with temptations, Clara's heart began to drift. She was in her early 20s, full of beauty, ambition, and a burning desire to rise above poverty. Every evening, Clara would sit outside under the dim streetlight, staring at the big houses across town. She would whisper to herself, "I can't remain like this forever. I must shine. I must stand out." Her best friend, Grace, often sat beside her. Grace, with her calm spirit, would shake her head and say, "Clara, life is not a race. Your parents gave you values, and if you hold on to them, you will reach the top in the right time." Clara would smile, faintly, but her heart was restless. One night, after returning from a youth fellowship, Clara overheard two girls talking. They laughed about the money they had made from a man they called client. Clara felt her heart thump. They looked simple but wore expensive wigs, glittering shoes, and held phones Clara had only seen in magazines. Something sparked in her. That night, sleep ran far from her eyes. She thought of her father's words, her mother's gentle touch, but above all, she thought of those phones, those shoes, and the ease on those girls' faces. "Why must I suffer when others are enjoying?" she whispered to herself. The next day, she confided in Grace. "Grace, what if I tell you that hookup is a faster way to succeed? Do you know how many years it would take for me to save money from an office job? Do you know how many doors will close because I don't have connection? I need something quick." Grace's eyes widened. "Clara, don't tell me you are thinking of hookup. Don't destroy yourself because of material things." Clara looked away. Maybe destruction is better than poverty. Her path was set that night. A girl from her neighborhood introduced her to her first client, and the money that entered Clara's hands blinded her completely. She bought clothes, changed her hairstyle, and rented a small apartment far from her parents' watchful eyes. When Pastor Daniel asked her where she got her sudden wealth, she lied with a smile. "Daddy, I am working as a sales agent." He believed her, though doubt remained in his eyes. Mrs. Johnson, however, prayed more fervently, sensing danger. Clara's beauty became her weapon, and men of wealth began to notice her. That was when she met him, Alhaji Suleiman. He was in his 50s, with a large belly and a commanding presence. He wore a agbada that shimmered in the sun and had drivers and bodyguards at his call. When he first approached Clara, She felt both fear and excitement. He promised her the world, cars, trips, and the kind of wealth she had only dreamed of. Clara thought she had stepped into paradise when she first followed Alhaji Suleiman. The hotels were grand, the cars were sleek, and money seemed to flow like water. But beneath the gold was a chain that tightened around her neck each day. Alhaji was generous, yes, but his generosity was never free. He had a plan for her, and little did Clara realize she had sold not just her body, but her freedom. At first, Alhaji showered her with expensive gifts. He bought her a car, filled her wardrobe with gowns she had only seen in magazines, and moved her into a furnished apartment. "You are special, Clara," he would say with his deep voice, his hand heavy on her shoulder. "Other girls are like sand, but you are diamond. Stay with me, and nobody will dare look down on you." Clara blushed at his words. One evening at a lavish hotel, Alhaji leaned closer and said, "Clara, you are different from the others. You are not just for pleasure, you have potential. Work with me, and I will make you untouchable." Clara's heart raced. "What do you mean?" He smiled thinly. "I deal in things bigger than your imagination. Business. But I need someone young, beautiful, and fearless. Someone like you." Clara hesitated, but the thought of power and riches swept her hesitation aside. "I'm ready," she said, her voice trembling with both greed and fear. And so began Clara's journey into a world darker than she ever imagined. At first, she thought it was simple, accompanying Alhaji to parties, helping him make contacts. But soon, the truth unveiled itself. She was to be the bridge, the bait, the smiling face that lured innocent girls into Alhaji's trap. One night, Clara sat alone, staring at the frightened eyes of a 15-year-old girl named Aisha, whom she had helped deceive. "Why are they taking me away?" Aisha asked softly, tears streaming down her face. Clara swallowed hard, her chest tightening. She wanted to scream, to stop everything, but then Alhaji's voice echoed in her head. "If you betray me, Clara, I will bury you where nobody will find you." Clara wiped her eyes and forced a smile. "You will be fine, Aisha. Just be strong." But deep inside, she was breaking. The more she sank, the more her soul rotted. She could no longer sleep peacefully. The faces of the girls haunted her dreams. One afternoon, Grace visited her. She walked into Clara's new apartment and stood in shock at the sight of chandeliers, imported rugs, and expensive perfume in the air. "Clara, what is all this? Where is this money coming from?" she asked. Clara smiled faintly, avoiding her friend's eyes. "Grace, you worry too much. I told you, I found a man who believes in me." Grace shook her head. "A man? What kind of man gives you all this without taking something more?" Clara, can't you see you are sinking? Clara's face hardened. Grace, you can stay in poverty if you like. I've made my choice. Grace sighed deeply. I pray you don't regret it. Those words caught Clara, but she buried them under layers of pride. Grace stopped speaking to her after finding out what she had become. Meanwhile, her parents noticed her absence. Pastor Daniel asked one evening at dinner, "Have you heard from Clara? She has not been home in months." Mrs. Johnson sighed, her eyes moist. "I call her, but she always says she is busy. My spirit is troubled, dear. That girl is walking into danger." Her mother grew sick with worry, whispering to neighbors, "Pray for my Clara." One night, Clara confronted Alhaji. "I can't do this anymore. These are children, Alhaji. I feel like I am killing them." Alhaji's smile vanished. His eyes darkened. "Clara, don't ever talk to me like that. You belong to me now. You think you can eat my money, ride my cars, and then run? I made you. Without me, you are nothing." He slammed his fist on the table, making Clara flinch. "Do as I say, or you will disappear." Terror consumed her. She wanted to scream, but her voice failed. She realized then that she was trapped in a cage built of wealth and blood. Clara's life was no longer her own. Each day felt like she was walking with chains hidden under her beautiful clothes. Outwardly, she looked like the picture of success. People admired her when she stepped out in designer shoes, driving her sleek car. But inside, Clara's soul was breaking apart. She was haunted by faces of girls she had deceived, voices that cried out in her dreams. But Alhaji was not the only wolf in this forest. Chief Bello, his rival, had been watching from the shadows. Chief Bello, Alhaji's bitter rival, had been watching her movements. His spies had noticed how close Alhaji kept her, how she was being used to pull in girls. To Chief Bello, Clara was more than just a girl. She was a weapon he could use against Alhaji. One night, as Clara left a meeting with Alhaji's associates, two men in dark clothes approached her car. "Madame Clara," one of them said with a sly smile, "our Oga wants to see you." Clara froze. "Who is your Oga?" The other man leaned closer. "Chief Bello. He says you are too fine to waste under Alhaji. He has an offer for you." Clara's blood ran cold. "Tell your boss I am not interested." She quickly entered her car, locking the doors. But as she drove off, fear clung to her chest. She knew trouble was near. A return to her apartment, a dark car followed her silently. The following day, she went to see her mother secretly. Mrs. Johnson's eyes widened at the sight of her daughter. "Clara, my child, you look thin. What is happening to you?" Clara hugged her tightly, tears flowing freely. "Mama, I made a mistake. I left the path you and Daddy taught me, and now I can't find my way back." Mrs. Johnson stroked her hair, whispering, "There is no mistake too deep for God to forgive, my daughter. Come home. Live that life and come home." But Clara shook her head. "Mama, I can't. They will kill me if I try to leave. Please, just pray for me." Her nights became longer, her guilt heavier. She thought of Aisha, of the other girls, of Grace's warnings, and of her mother's tears. She was drowning, and she knew that soon, something terrible would happen. And, indeed, the worst was drawing near. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Dazzling Africa Tales for more entertaining stories. The end is close, but Clara's fate is about to unfold in a way she never imagined. The tension between Alhaji Suleiman and Chief Bello had grown into a storm that could not be contained. Each man wanted power, each wanted control, and Clara, unknowingly, stood in the middle of their deadly rivalry. She was not just a girl anymore, she was a weakness that could be exploited, a weapon to be used. And in the game of wolves, a lamb has no chance of survival. One fateful evening, Alhaji summoned Clara to his mansion. The house was filled with guards carrying rifles, their eyes restless. The air itself seemed heavy. Alhaji sat on a leather chair, his face stern. "Clara," he said slowly, "things are getting dangerous. Bello has been attacking my men. He is trying to break me. From today, you don't move anywhere without my escort. Do you understand?" Clara nodded, though her heart trembled. She felt trapped in a war she never signed up for. "Alhaji," she whispered, "maybe I should just leave. Maybe if I go far away, Bello will forget me, and you can continue your business without me." Alhaji's face twisted with anger. "Leave? Do you think this is a joke? You are mine. Clara, you don't belong to yourself anymore. Without me, you are nothing. Don't ever think of leaving." He leaned forward, his voice low and dangerous. "If you betray me, I will make sure your family pays for it." Clara's lips quivered. She wanted to scream, but held her mouth. One evening she sat at her balcony and looked up and prayed to God. She said, "Oh God, I don't know if you can hear me, but please forgive me my sins and protect my families. Save me from this evil that is looming." But the storm she prayed against was already moving towards her. Chief Bello had planned his strike. "Take the girl," he told his men. "If Alhaji values her so much, then her fall will be his destruction." The men came inside. Her house dragged her, shot her dead.